Hello there everybody and welcome back to episode 2 of my beginner's tutorial series for Keeper Roguelike. In the previous episode we built up ourselves a little den of evil here. We conquered the environments, we've built up ourselves a little bit of a new science area for our mages, and today we are going to go into the deeper secrets of higher quality materials and everything in between. So first up, we're going to assign our little imp dudes to excavate that granite. This is going to be very important for us, and we might be wanting to expand on that. As you see here, there's again a gap. This is either going to be water, or if we're lucky-ish, it's even going to be a cavern. You never really know, so keep your imps busy. That is one thing that I really would recommend in any way, as there is always something to do for your little guys. There we go. So we're going to wait until these are done, and let's get downstairs and see what we found there. So there is a secret area over there, and obviously there is also a bit of a surprise over here. So let's explore that really quick. We have employed in the previous episode a swarm of new goblin warriors. Today we're going to add in a priest and a wizard. So there we go. Oh, the priest was already. Okay, so let's control these guys, and we're going to check out what's down there. We are now primarily looking for iron. So here we found a wrecked tribe. There we go. Easy as that. The caverns, well, as you can see here, the underground areas are often really wide, and you can explore a lot there, which is at many points very helpful. There's even a trap, which activates a gargoyle, which is a pretty formidable opponent, as we see there, which is pretty much destroying the entirety of our fighters. Luckily, one of them's spells got them down, and yeah. So this is now how quickly the cookie is crumbling. We are going to rescue the materials, but we're going to exit control mode now, and we're going to leave it like that. These traps here are still remaining. To be sure that nothing bad will happen, we're just going to install a door in front of that. And to make sure that enemies don't have it as easy to get into our base, we're going to make that door happen there as well. Don't worry too much about goblins and goblin fighters dying. They do that all the time. Your goblin warriors dying happens so often. The only thing you should really take into account is that you should try to rescue the gear that they lost, because that is generally said a pretty big loss. Anyways, so there's water over here. In case you didn't think already, you can also do yourself, where is it? Here, installations? No. Here, structures. You can also do yourself some bridges over the water out of various materials. Okay, we got stone, and we get new goblin warriors. As you see, they come and go, and therefore we don't need to worry too much about that. So with that stone, the first thing that I want to do is build myself a grave, so we can finally store corpses, as these can be used later for a lot of different things. The other thing that we need to take care of is obviously the fact that we still need to find iron. These doors, if you click them left, you can also lock them. So that's what we're going to do here. So I am going to press C yet again for some torches, and we are going to leave it like that. So here goes the order for downstairs. Hotkey A to prioritize them. And down here you see we can dig our way into many different resources. We are looking for something in particular though. I see it already. There it is, iron. So we also got ourselves a opening here into this area. So there is a question mark. So we got to be careful about that. Let's increase the priority on these. Another goblin wizard. Okay, so when you don't know what you're facing, another really good thing you can do is get yourself just a wall between there and the rest of the world. So there we go. We are going to dig our way now to the iron, as this is surely the most important stuff. All right, we already see there is not the... there's gaps in between. Okay, so let's prioritize that. And let's see what's happening here. Since we're lacking wood, we're going to go upstairs now and chop some trees. These surface trees are, in my experience, the most available source of wood. But yeah, if you need more, you can find downstairs more. And here we can now pilfer the entire skeletons and everything there, as some of your troops will be able to use these materials later down the road. Okay, so let's see that we are going to get our hands on that iron as quick as possible. So let's prioritize that. Because without iron, we are not going to be able to do anything further. The thing is, the areas outside of the world have all pretty high difficulty levels. So what we are now going to go for is we're going to look for new recruits. So look at that. There's also a zombie waiting for recruitment. He requires a coffin, and we obviously do need a body for that as well. So here it goes. You can just build those coffins like that. But it also should become already obvious that certain materials, especially wood, are now running out more often. That's pretty obviously because we are just using that material now like crazy. So we're also able to prioritize the wood planks here. So in case you want a hauling job done quite desperately, that's also one thing you can do. Okay. There we go. So finally we have the materials that we require. And yeah, just like I thought, we are opening our way here. With these surprise areas here, you should always be careful, as they can be a real nasty surprise. There can be stuff that you're not going to be able to handle, and therefore handle them with care. The downstairs here can be equally deadly as any invader from upstairs, so take care about that. So we are a little bit unlucky with our goblin warriors. Nobody is picking up the task here. Okay. Fairly unusual, in all honesty. Okay, let's prioritize these yet again, so we can get ourselves that stuff together real quick. Down below here, you also can see that we have a population limit. So let's use that zombie. As you see there, 7 of 10. Population limit can be increased by farming. This does require a own technology, but it's very simple. You put an animal fence in front of a room, just like you would use a door, and then you put the farming stuff on the ground like a floor, and then you automatically increase the population limits. But as you see here, chicken breeding can only increase the population up to 4 people, pigsty 8 people, cow pen 16 people. So there is always a limit to these methods to make sure that it ain't too easy to just overrun the enemy. Your zombie here now has one very, very important new trait. He's vulnerable to sunlight. Lots of your baddies are. That's another reason to raid only during night, because it would be really tragic to lose these. This guy is also a swarmer, which is every zombie, so a full squad of zombies is most efficient, as you see. Okay, with that iron that we are grabbing ourselves now, we are now able to do really cool things. Iron is the very first resource that is used for more advanced and sophisticated things. Let's put it down like that. And usually you're not starting with the technology even to use it, like I said before. Okay, so let's put the zombie there. By the way, down here you see how much nighttime there's always left. So if you are insecure about the security of your night dwellers, here you can look it up. Okay, so the very first thing that we're going to do now is we're going to build ourselves iron dummies. So these are really cool and are going to train our people even further. As you see here, we can now recruit also vampire warriors that even request such a item. So we are going to go now and build ourselves another coffin, because what's better than a regular goblin? Certainly zombies and vampires. But we're not stopping there. We're also going to go now to the crafting menu, and we're going to build ourselves a forge. Mind you that there's also this purple workshop and the magma forge, and these are basically upgraded versions of these crafting tables that must be built either next to a magical pond for the workshop or next to a magma spot for the magma forge. There is also, I don't know yet what the poetry table is good for, but you can build one and your Dark Lord will write lots of poetry. And beyond that, well, I think these are all fairly self-explanatory so far. The iron we're excavating down here is going to give us a nice head start. Let's see. Let's speed up things yet again. There we go. And now you see that our soldiers are increasing their skill level finally again. But most importantly, we now gained access to a forge, where we can now forge stuff out of iron. You can also change the materials, so there's higher tier materials available as well. But for starters, we're just going to order ourselves for our melee personnel a couple of chain armors. So 4 of them should suffice for the warriors, for the zombie, and for the vampire that we're going to recruit as soon as the coffin is ready. And there we go. Now they can finally reach higher levels. This is also possible for the bookcases, but we cannot build that right now because we don't have the advanced sorcery technology, which would allow us to do that. So, a couple of things that I also want to introduce. We are right now pretty vulnerable up here, so if we are ever getting attacked, that would be really unfortunate, because people can't just storm in and do things. Because that's uncool, we are going to set up guards. So, you go here into the zones menu, and there's guard areas. We are going to set up one here and one here. Each spot defines a location where one guard will stand. So drawing a monstrosity down like that would try to employ a grand total of 16 guards. So that's not how we're going to use it. This is how we're going to do it. So 2 guards are assigned at all times. So we head on over now to the Goblin Warriors and go into the activity menu. Here you can see that all Goblin Warriors per se are disabled for guarding zone duty here. So we're going to set that up. There we go. And now we check it. As you see here, clicking once on this check mark has enabled the guarding duty for all Goblin Warriors, and now they're going to do that every time they can. So they'll rotate now, so they'll take that work and then they'll go downstairs again for training, and then they'll take that work again and go downstairs for training. So the only thing that we are lacking now are enough goblin warriors, so we'd require yet another dude. So we don't have that much more population available right now. So here begins already the point where you start to focus around what you got, or where you need to work around the total capacity of your resources. The thing here is quite simple. These guys, they now train up, and they will ultimately die if we don't take good care of them. Also, chain armor takes substantially longer to be made compared to the low quality armor. The longer you wait, the more likely it'll be that somebody will attack us up from outside there. So all in all, you see how it works. You can also assign a certain person to be the guard there. So Boogrock, for example, if we'd be disabling his training eligibility here, he'd be starting to just do the guarding thing. So, for example, once he's fully trained, it would be a good idea to do this. So, a couple of things that I wanted to mention here. So this training does impact all of their the stats that are always here implied. Check it out. There you see. We had a +1 here now on the damage via training. So this number got raised by 7 points. The +5 behind that is the total sum of gear bonuses. So we gain +5 out of our gear in terms of attack, and +7 out of our gear in terms of defense. When we check out now, let's see, our Vampire Warrior, there is the same ability of his in terms of training, but he also has a other intrinsic attack, so he has a Fangs of Bleeding attack. Compare that to the Warrior, fists and legs. So everybody is wired a little bit different. And also noticeable, these guys have no crafting abilities, but they can distill booze, and they are resistant against range attacks. So it's really important that you try to focus on all the things that your people can actually do. Okay, so let's set up another little thing. And that's, well, let's do this like that. All right, yeah, now you see Boogram goes on guard duty. That's exactly what we wanted. All right, so going to the outside world like that can be sometimes really, really dangerous, and sometimes you just don't want to send your A team. So we're going to create now our B team. So Lurbog here is going to be a singular person, and he's now a single team. We can control him now, and when you select the compass rose now, you can go for wherever you want to go. So we're going to send him here, and he is now controllable for us. So you can go around here and explore the place a little bit, but most importantly, you don't need to waste your precious people. So we can now go up front here a little bit. There's a lot of gravestones here. And there we go. So we now can see there's a zombie with fairly low stats, very comparable to our fighters, so we can just take the flight and go back to our home site, exit control mode, and now we're going to slap this young gentleman. Well, we're not going to do this to him. We're now going to take the A-team and send them over to the zombies. We need to take care that we do get this done until before the night is over. That is very important. But here we go. Pressing spacebar. And as you see now, your army gets done. It's these things done quite decently. There is a stairwell downstairs, so we're going to wait on that. And there's some person here living. And there we see it. The peasants don't have any too dramatic stats, so... And we destroyed these fellas here. There's a couple of corpses and stuff. There's only 300 turns of night left, so we're going to head upwards there. So there's another little thing. And as you see here, while you're exploring these outside areas, there can be several locations that you need to conquer. There we go. There's always some sort of a notification when you've done it. And you don't need to raid the entire location in one go. So we can totally wait for the next time. So we're not going to go over the river today. We're just going to go downstairs here and start raiding this place. It is very, very important that you scout locations like these beforehand, because I've made the experience several times that it can be absolutely fatal to be overrun by troops that are way beyond your power, and that is really, really important that you just scout it before you go there. Compare the stats of the enemy to your stats, and if the attack is double as high as your best defense stats, you should really consider scuttling out of that. So all of these sarcophagi contain loot, as you see there. You can directly plunder it. So for example, that +5 knife is better than our club, and all those things can be plundered directly. But like I said before, these things can also be plundered externally. Okay, so we got 61 turns of night left. That is where we need to go away. And most importantly, as you see there, we have now explored a little bit of the world. So let's get back home and hope that there is enough light left for my fellas to get downstairs without crumbling to a heap of dust. I think I overdone it there. So as you see there, it is really important to be careful with these things. So there's day now, and I think our vampire will be dying now. So this is another little management aspect that you need to take care of. Here, vampire, deado, zombie. Also, well, he started out kind of like dead, but you get the idea. So the cycle of day and night is therefore extremely, extremely important for the game. And just like that, we have gained more experience points. We can now research even 2 things. And we definitely will go for chicken breeding, because increasing the population cap at least once makes it so much easier to defend your home turf, as you have with that finally the capability to just keep a couple of guards back home. And we're going to go for traps. You for yourself, I can recommend a lot of things there. You can go for 2-handed weapons for heavier hitting. Archery I find very, very recommendable, as it unlocks an entirely new venue of troops. And advanced sorcery does a similar thing, as you see here. All of these that unlock new technologies at the same time are things that give you even more powerful things later. Sorcery for the spellcasters and foraging for the warriors, and the rest, well, I think it doesn't need that much of an explanation. I'm picking traps here and chicken breeding in advance for the next episode, because we're going to talk about traps there as well, of course. And I also want to introduce that farming thing and prisons in the next episode, because there's also a fun little mechanic that you can utilize, and that is people can be turned over to your side by being put into a prison and being tortured. So at that point, it is also up to you what kind of a army you really want to field. There's several ways how you can do it, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. There's one thing that I want to mention. The longer a run goes, the more vicious the opposition will go. So you will get attacked every now and then, and I'd strongly recommend to have more for your defenses going than I do here, because this is just a tutorial run. But the better your defenses, the easier it'll be to survive in the long run. So here's one more thing that I want to showcase before we end this episode. In the floors section, I'm now going to put some stone floor there. Let's go for this. And People can also have a assigned apartment. For higher quality and very experienced characters, this can be very important, as they need a certain luxury level to realize their experience. So here goes. We're going to use installation-wise, you can also go for candelabras, which increase luxury, or a standing torch, or you go just for the regular torches. We're going to introduce one cool looking room here. So we're going to install a door. Doors only differ in terms of resilience as far as I've seen so far. So they you don't need to go for a fancier door, as they don't have a luxury rating linked to them. We're going to put up a fine bed, which costs you also iron. Dining table. And generally, if the person that you're recruiting is not requiring anything like these, you don't need to put it up. I just do this for the sake of showing off how it works. So now in the zones menu, you can also assign quarters. So quarters can be assigned like that. As you see now, we have a quarters assigned to that. And we can assign these quarters to somebody. So these are now your Dark Lord's quarters. There we go. And this can be used to assign certain living quarters to a certain person, which is very useful in very many different regards, as it allows you also to focus where somebody will be living at, even if you don't want to have the things there. Also, good areas like these provide bonuses, happiness, satiation for eating somewhere. Source of light even, does also do increase the work speed. I'm not that 100% sure with many of the details of the game. I really wouldn't mind if you guys fill in some blanks in the comment section. But I think I'll leave it like this for today, because I think we have put up all the most important things. With this episode, you already know how to explore the rest of the world. And let's see. We now have no night people anymore. We can now go over there, and as you see there, the rest of the map isn't conquered yet, so we can go for the rest of the map and collect whatever is hanging out there. I personally would recommend strongly to just fight whatever you can, but as you see there, there's quite a large number of enemies, and that is why we want to be always careful with what we're fighting against. This is also a wonderful example why it's a dumb idea to go raiding at day, as the enemy archers had a very easy time pelting us with their ranged attacks. Mostly because we decided to go during day, and they just had a free fire range on us as much as they wanted to, which is not necessary. You don't need to make it that hard on yourself. Okay, so there's loot there. And let's see. We've uncovered all question marks on the map, so we can now leave the area. Exit control mode does the trick. We've lost not a single troop. And now you can easily just choose the items that you pillaged from there and get them transported to your home turf. That's just how you can do it. You don't need to pillage everything as hardcore as I do here, but you can, of course. There we go. So I hope you found that helpful. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions or if you might want to add something. And the next and foreseeable last episode will then introduce also the last couple of things that are missing, namely farming, prisons, and I don't know, maybe there will be something left there. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. That all being said, thanks a lot for watching, and see you all on the next one. Thumbs up would be appreciated, consider subscribing, and also check out the description box where you can find plenty of links to go around. There's also Twitch, Discord, where you can chat with me and like-minded gamers, and there's of course Patreon, PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or the YouTube channel membership system. If you'd like to support the channel, I'd be more than happy about it. See you all on the next one, and enjoy the time.